Today, international banker is joined by Mr. Obeahon Ohiwerei, Managing Director, CEO of Keystone Bank, to discuss the bank's digital strategy, new product offerings, and his own role at the bank. Very good to have you with us.
Thank you.
Listen, let's start with the bank's flagship customer loyalty and reward scheme. How does it work?
The bank's flagship loyalty scheme is called a cash token initiative that rewards customer loyalty and repeat business by customers. Why did we do that? Because we started from a disadvantage point as a bank because of what we were before, where we were before as a bank, and because we needed to reposition the bank pretty fast, we had to come up with an initiative that will tie our customers to us and continue to reward them. Now, how does this thing work? If you activate your accounts, a dormant account for instance, and conduct certain number of transactions, you get a cash token from us. Now, this cash token during our weekly draws would enable you, okay, you could win between $15, okay, and $270,000 during the weekly draws. All right? Again, it's not only account reactivation. If you, for instance, also use our ATMs a certain number of times, it entitles you to a cash token. If you maintain certain balances in your account over a period, it entitles you to a cash token. It's a life-changing opportunity for our customers. Now, those who bank with us, the SMEs and the corporates that bank with us, also can sign on to this initiative such that they buy the cash tokens and gift them to their customers. I'll give you an example. Hilton Hotel. Instead of giving discounts, corporate discounts on accommodation, they just give you that cash token. All right? And that cash token also enables their customers, okay, to win between $15 a week and $270,000. So the more people we have in the scheme, the better for everybody. Government, for instance, can use that to encourage taxpayers to pay taxes. That's every time you pay your taxes, all right, you are gifted, the cash token. And that's because of the pool of the number of businesses that have signed on to that initiative. There is so much money in the pool that will enable people to actually have access up to $270,000 per week.
So you're building loyalty through the transactional use of the bank's services?
That's right. That's exactly what we're doing. Because I'll give you an example. If a large departmental store, for instance, or a supermarket is signed on to this initiative, all right, and I decide to send maybe somebody that works with me, a very junior person who works in my house, maybe my gardener, for instance, hey, you go buy me a can of milk. He goes there, buys something just worth maybe $20, and the person is gifted that cash token. He could become a millionaire tomorrow using my own money. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. That's exactly why it's good for everybody. And we encourage everyone, all businesses in Nigeria to actually come on board that initiative.
Now, in Q3 2017, the bank commenced a really extensive restructuring process aimed at achieving greater operational efficiency, process improvement, and also the realignment of skills and competencies to areas of best fit at both senior and middle management levels. Do you have any specific examples of the initiatives that have been launched in order to help you meet those aims?
Very well, very well. I'll just roll back a little. When we got on board, we met a lot of challenges. The bank had been in the hands of the Asset Management Company of Nigeria for quite some time, for about 6 years. In the process, the bank had about 3 different CEOs. So morale was completely down in the bank. Culture was nothing to write home about. There was no business drive, and the bank wasn't profitable. The balance sheet was declining. So it was a major issue for us. There was almost a total shutdown, by staff in terms of trying to make things happen, for the bank. So when we got there, our CEO, I got there in August, precisely August 15, 2017. The first thing was to go to, I call it the bush. We'll go to the bush. Not the bush precisely. We went on a retreat outside the office with the board and management. And there we agreed on the strategy forward. We communicated to ourselves what the strategic direction would be, why we're embarking on that journey, precisely how we're going to go about it, and of course, what is in it for the people when we're able to achieve the agenda that was set for ourselves. So the vision is very, very clear where we're going. We've embarked on major process reengineering to make things easier for our people, for our customers and all that, to make transactions also faster, to remove the frustrations and bottlenecks in the system. We have enhanced our digital platform, okay? So very well that life is a lot easier for our customers. We asked ourselves certain questions. We're relatively a small bank. At that time, we're still about growing fast. And the question was, how best do we compete in this market? All right? There are much bigger banks. How do we compete and go head to head with them? It was clear that any bank that does not embed itself in the digital revolution will be playing catch up in the next 5 years, or may not even be in existence. So that is what we latched onto.
Well, let's pick up on the digital issue. With the advent of Keystone's digital revolution, do you envisage a reduction in the number of the bank's physical branches in favour of an expansion in branchless banking?
Not at all. Today we have 154 branches across Nigeria. We will say we have effective coverage of the major commercial centers in Nigeria. However, to grow our business in leaps and bounds, what we are using to drive it is the digital aspect, okay? Our retail business will ride on the platform of the digital aspect of our business to grow in quantums. Now, another thing we have done is to introduce what we call the agency banking. Now, what's the agency banking about? There is a government parastatal called Nigerian Postal Services, all right, which has presence in almost every local government in Nigeria and so on. They've been in existence for several years. So we've gone into an alliance, okay, with them, such that in those remote locations where they are, where I would say banking, you have a lot of unbanked and underbanked people, all right? What we've done is that alliance will enable us, okay, get all those guys on board. Now, how do we do it? We use the staff of NiPost, all right? They carry out the transactions, they pay and receive and other things, check lodgements and so on and so forth. They do everything in their offices using our machinery. You know what I'm saying? And in the process, all these businesses come onto our balance sheet. And we get to do this co-location with NiPost at minimal cost. So today, what it will cost me to establish a brick and mortar location for one, all right, I will use that to establish 20 to 25 agency banking locations. And the business is deepening every day. And
in fact, you're kind of dealing with two very separate kind of customer market segments, aren't you, through that approach? Yeah.
Well, yes, the unbanked, the underbanked, and the complete retail business.
Has the kind of digital strategy made it easier then for customers to open an account?
Oh, very well, very, very well. Today, you can open an account with Keystone Bank from any part of the world, all right, using our mobile app, for instance, using our USSD platform, and then using our rapid account acquisition platform. It's so easy, in a few minutes, the accounts are opened. So that is really helping us because people have come to realize that Keystone Bank is actually bringing very convenient products for them, and they're using that to sign on.
And one of those products is zero data banking, which apparently allows customers to transact using the bank's mobile app, even without data on their phones. That sounds like a particularly exciting innovation. How does it work? Do customers still get the full functionality of the app, even if they don't have data on their phone?
You see, we're always thinking, and we try to make banking fun. We try to make life easier for our customers. I mentioned earlier that we now have access to the unbanked and underbanked in rural areas. Some of these people are people who may not necessarily have the wherewithal financially to always buy airtime and stuff like that. So that helps that segment very, very well. So even where they don't have data on their phones, they're still able, at least if you have a smartphone, you're still able to transact and, things go well for you.
Now, the other one is the chat banking platform, Oxygen, which sounds like a groundbreaking feature. And again, this is something that's targeted at youths and millennials. How is this specifically done? How have you got around attracting that quite tricky market segment?
You see, a lot of the things we do today, we do with the millennials in mind, okay? These are people who almost always sleep on their phones. My sons, my daughter, any free time they have, they are on their phones. These people are the future. Are you following? So you must do, as you come up with products, you're also positioning to capture that market, all right? And that is why we came up with that chat banking thing. It makes life very easy for them. It's fun as they do their social media and stuff, it's just part of it. Do chat banking, you want to transfer money, you want to check your balances, you just chat and it's fun for you, you understand? So it's such a lovely thing. I enjoy it too, I enjoy using it myself.
One of the things we always discuss in these interviews is the kind of impact of fintech on the banking sector. Do you expect to maintain or lose market share as you see fintech sector rising over the coming years?
No, as a matter of fact, we will gain market share. And it will help us grow our business tremendously. As I said earlier, if you do not embed yourself in the digital space, you'll be playing catch up. All we need to do, what we're doing is we're going into alliances with, the fintechs and all that to grow our business. Okay? And once you get it right, the whole idea is for my retail business to be at least 70% of my business tomorrow. All right? My balance sheet, I want in the next 5 years, minimum proportion will be 70% by the retail segment. So the way to go is digital.
So you've been Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer of Keystone Bank for almost a full year now. During this time, what do you consider to be your greatest achievement and what's your greatest challenge?
Let me start with the challenge. The first was people, my people. I met a terribly demoralized team on ground. You had people who had not been promoted between 9 and 11 years. Same level for 9 and 11 years. Now, the bank was one time bigger than the most profitable bank in Nigeria today. And some of these people were the ones that actually made the bank grow at the time. So the challenge was how to now reignite the fire in these people and make them perform the wonders that they did before. So it was a major challenge for us. But I must say today, the people are making me proud. Things are happening, and they are beginning to see the rewards, also get the rewards for hard work. Now, in terms of achievements, the bank was making losses for 22 straight months. Deposit base was declining every day. But I'm proud to say, and I'm happy to say, with the collective efforts of my team, the management, the ESCO, and everybody, the board, the bank, the deposit base, for instance, has grown by over 50% in less than 10 months. The liquidity is very, very high. We have no issues with liquidity. And above all, the bank is back to month-on-month profitability. That is just awesome.
From where you were to today, yes, that's a great achievement. Exactly. What's the biggest way in which your role at Keystone Bank differs from previous kind of banking leadership roles you've held? You were with First Ally Capital Limited and Access Bank Ghana Limited. Okay,
I may rephrase that a little for you. In Access Bank Ghana, I was just a non-executive director. I was a group executive director in Access Bank. Okay, I was on the board of Access Bank Ghana. So because I didn't actually act in executive capacity, they're not directly comparable. However, let me talk about my experience at United Bank for Africa, Ghana, where I was the pioneer CEO. Okay? In Ghana, I obtained the license for the bank. That was in 2005. December 2004, and commenced operations in January 2005. I had the opportunity to pick my team, every person. I had the opportunity to pick every person I wanted. Do you understand? It was the first Nigerian bank there. And because I picked my team, I was able to shape them in the direction that I wanted. But coming back home, Keystone Bank, I didn't pick the team. I met a lot of them on ground. A lot of people who were highly demotivated. So I had to do a lot of work in that aspect. Now, with the team in Ghana, things move so fast for us because we set out to democratize banking. All right? We like to take banking to the underbanked and unbanked. A lot of people used to keep monies under their beds and stuff like that. So the challenge was to attract it into the banking system. In 15 months, the bank got 3 awards. So it was an awesome experience for me, but different from the case of Keystone Bank because I met a team that I needed to work with. Now, for First Ally Capital, when I left Access Bank at the end of 2013, I retired as an executive director. Another colleague retired a few months before then. His name is Ebenezer Olufowoshi. He was an executive director as well. We decided to embark on an entrepreneurial move. So First Ally Capital was set up by us. We have equal stake in the business as an investment banking boutique. Again, in the case of that outfit, we selected our team. We got the type of investors we wanted, the type of directors we wanted, people with clean money, people with excellent and impeccable character, actually. People with, people who have established, who know what governance is. So that, again, is different from what we're doing in Keystone Bank today. The business is growing, and Ebenezer is running the company today, the firm. They have about 4 different companies in the group.
Thinking of kind of the leadership qualities you've been discussing, if you could identify one key quality that a banking leader should possess in order to achieve success, what would it be?
A leader must be able to articulate his strategic direction, communicate it very well, show how you're going to get there, and be able to communicate to the people what's in it for them. It is very, very important. And they must also see you lead by example, walk the talk.
Yeah,
That's
visibility.
right.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's precisely what we're doing.
Now, as I understand it, there are no immediate plans for expansion into the West African sub-region as a major fallout of the bank's prolonged bridge bank status, which was the decision to divest in sub-region such as Keystone Bank, Sierra Leone, and Global Bank in Liberia. What was the reason for taking that decision in the first place?
Well, very clearly, we needed to sit back and reset the bank because of all the numerous issues we met on ground. And resetting that bank meant, putting all the structures in place to make it grow in terms of balance sheet, in terms of cultural orientation. There were so many things to do. After doing all that, we needed to consolidate. And that's why we have to just go out of those countries. We can always go back anytime we want to do that, once the bank is firing at us on all cylinders. Yeah.
Now, you've mentioned the loyalty scheme, you've mentioned attracting millennials, you've mentioned the partnership that gives you reach out to people who are kind of doing traditional banking. Where do you see the majority of Keystone's growth opportunities lying during the coming months and years? Is it retail, MSME, or corporate banking? Or perhaps another area?
It's clearly going to be retail and MSME for us. The agenda is for us to have 70% at least of our total deposit base come from the retail and MSME. That ensures stability.
Now, I believe one of your biggest aims is to deliver on the mandate for your investors of making Keystone a Tier 1 bank. And in your view, how far off are you from achieving this aim?
When we got on board, I would say the bank was at the bottom of the ladder. But today, after 10 months, in terms of profitability, we're a Tier 2 bank. In terms of profitability. But in terms of balance sheet side total assets, we're not there yet, okay? So if we could achieve that in 10 months, clearly, in all ramifications, we'll be a Tier 2 bank within 5 years, in all ramifications. If we achieve that, and given all the things we're doing today, which I cannot reveal to my competition, I have no doubt that in 10 years, we'll be a Tier 1 bank.
Great goal to aim for.
That's right.
Best of luck doing that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time today.
Oh, really, thank you. You're most welcome.